G'day divers and welcome back to the channel. We've got some exciting news today. Backscatter have released an adapter to be able to put the Backscatter Macromate Mini onto the DJI Action 4 and 5 or the Insta360 Ace Pro and Ace Pro 2. Now before we get too excited, I can guarantee you this is not an April Fool's joke. You can now attach them to the DJI and the Insta360. Now the Macromate Mini is by far the best macro lens for underwater for a GoPro. The problem is, although I can guarantee you can now attach it, I can't guarantee you whether the optics will work. So Backscatter have made the adapter to attach to the QRS-02 system. That is the same system that AOI have to use the AOI UWL-03 lens. And the reason that it can now be moved across is because AOI make a base mount, not only for GoPro, but also for the Insta360 Ace Pro series and the DJI Action 4 and 5. So now not only can you also attach the AOI UWL-03 wide-angled lens, or the equivalent, which is the Backscatter Sharp lens, they're both the same lens, you can now also get the adapter to have the Backscatter Macromate Mini. Now, whether the optics is the same is very hard to tell. Every lens acts differently, and this lens was designed to be used with the GoPro. I can tell you it works great with the GoPro. Now, I am a little concerned as to whether it's going to work, and I'll tell you why. Because this has sort of quietly been put onto the Backscatter website. I can't find anywhere on the internet announcing that this has happened, or it's coming, or any details or any videos. I first got told about this when one of our subscribers, one of our viewers, mentioned it in the comments, and I went and had a look, and sure enough, if you go to the Backscatter site and you go to the Macromate Mini and you go down to the bottom, you'll see the option to buy the adapter. It's $49, I think, US dollars. Now, I emailed Backscatter and I waited a week and a half, didn't get an answer. I sent another email and I got an answer within a day, and the answer is this. They will agree that it's going to attach to a DJI and an Insta because it's the same QRS-02 system. They wouldn't tell me whether or not it works optically on both those cameras, claiming they haven't tried it yet, and they will be trying it in the future, and there'll be more information coming. Now, take of that what you will. I don't overly buy it. You're talking about Backscatter, who have been bugged for years about making lenses and filters for the DJI and the Insta, and they've gone out of their way to make an adapter that they know is going to fit those cameras. They've gone and made it, designed it, found a manufacturer, produced it, got it under production, put it on their website, and nobody at this massive camera store has happened to try it on an Insta360 Ace Pro or a DJI Action. Look, maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I just find that very hard to believe that nobody at all in that store has tried it on those other cameras. I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe the optics didn't work as well and they're wanting to do some playing around and see before they release that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I just find it very strange, especially when they would be getting so many emails asking about it. You see it all over the internet about people wanting to know whether they're going to make a flip system for the DJI or the Insta. So I guess we'll have to wait and see whether they do work optically. The other reason I'm concerned it might work optically is because although I'll tell you right now it works really good on a GoPro, I have tried the Macromate Mini on other cameras, especially mobile phones. I've tried it on a couple of mobile phones, or several, and it's never worked well. Now, why do I find this exciting? Well, I am keen to have more competition between the three brands, especially those are the three main action cameras. And at the moment, from an underwater videography point of view, if you want to take good underwater video, the GoPro is still miles ahead because of three main reasons. If you haven't seen the video why, I'll link that up here. And one of those reasons is because the GoPro has access to the Macromate Mini and the flip system. So by being able to use the Macromate Mini, hopefully, optically, you can certainly put it on it, but optically on the DJI and the Action, that's going to take one of the three reasons out why those cameras are behind. And I don't want them to be behind. They are great companies, they are great cameras for other reasons, and I want the competition there because I want them to push each other. The more competition, the faster and better the cameras advance each year. As far as using it for GoPro, because obviously Backscatter is saying that it works for the GoPro and this is what they've designed it for. The reason they designed it is because they don't recommend using their wide-angled lens or the AOI wide-angle AOI UWL-03 lens on the flip system. In fact, their site says it doesn't work. Now, I made a video, which I'll link up here, which shows that I can get it to work, and I much prefer that option. Is it perfect? No. You need to use the handle on your dual-handled tray to be able to put the lens behind it, because obviously it's too big and too heavy for the flip system to hold it back. And the other thing I often do is if I'm in strong currents or surge and I'm finding that the wide-angled lens is moving away from the housing, there's a little eyelet on the lens and I just put a little rubber band through it and I clip it over the screw on the GoPro, and that stops it from coming forward. But the reason I will stick to using it on the flip system like I do in that video is I can go quickly and easily. I can have the wide angle lens on, I can move it around, flip it out of the way, put it behind the handle, use no lens, flip down the Macromate Mini and have macro, and do it over and over again, and I don't need to take any lens off the camera. The problem with using a lens that comes on and off is you've now got a massive risk. If you take that wide-angled lens off, you're now holding it in your hand. If you drop that or your Macromate, say goodbye. It is going to sink so quick, you won't have even known you've dropped it before it's out of sight. Then you've got to put them somewhere, and you've got to worry about the buoyancy of your rig. So number one is if you decide you're going to put lenses in your pocket, that is quite the movement. I have done it many times over many years with compact cameras and other systems where you've got to take wet lenses off and replace them underwater. So the cheap option is to put them in your pocket. Problem with that, one, they can fall out of your pocket, you can miss your pocket. The next problem is if I take that wide-angled lens off, it is considerably heavy compared to the GoPro setup. So now my buoyancy has changed. There is no way out of it. The difference in weight between the GoPro without any lens, with the Macromate or with the wide-angled lens is a lot. Then the better option is to use a lens attachment on your rig, which is what you would normally do on a bigger rig. The downside of this, again, you've still got to take a lens off, you've still got it in your hand, and it's still potential to drop it until you've got it clicked in. If you don't click it in properly, say goodbye. The other thing, again, same thing, balance. If you're going to do that, I would get a dual-handled tray that has a top on it, and I would get the adapters, which you can buy, but again, they're not overly cheap. Then I would have them above the GoPro and as close together as possible. If you go and stick that wide-angled lens out away from the GoPro, your camera setup's going to be like this. That wide-angled lens, in comparison, weight-wise, to your GoPro setup is considerable. So you're going to want to have that adapter right over the top of the GoPro and have them as close together as possible so you don't have a massive weight change. That is why I won't bother using it. The flip system works fine. I never have to take a lens off. I don't have to risk dropping it. I don't have to sit there fiddling underwater. I can just take and go with whatever lens I want. But hey, Backscatter isn't happy with that, so they've offered this solution, and at least then you've now got an option to attach them to DJI and Insta. How that's going to work optically, I guess we'll find out. If any of you use one, if you try it out, please let us know in the comments. As I see people use them, if people start to use them, start to post, I will make another video, I'll make some comments. But definitely, if you've got any feedback, if you've tried it, you may have tried it in the past with your own homemade adapter, I don't know. Can you please make a comment and let all the other people who have DJI Action cameras or Insta360 Ace Pros know whether or not this is actually going to be a realistic option. So let's hope that this is some exciting news for everybody. But until next time, keep blowing bubbles, and don't forget, the deeper you go, the further you get away from all those idiots.